Not fair, not safe. This is the slogan being used by young female doctors about how the proposed cuts to the NHS will disproportionately affect them. The potential impact of these cuts is making some female medical students at UCL reconsider pursuing medicine in the UK.
I'm very loyal to the NHS for, helping fund a lot of my degree, and I feel like I should work there to give some back. But if I feel like it's going to be unsafe for patients, I'm not sure if I want to work within that institution. The government is proposing to effectively cut our pay. They're passing off as a pay rise because they're saying they're raising our basic rate of pay. But effectively, because they're taking away the extra pay we get from working unsociable hours, we're going to be paid significantly less. And the safeguarding which was in place to stop this happening, it's not going to be there anymore. So even though the government is suggesting we work less hours, it's not going to be monitored. And if junior doctors are cheaper, they're going to work us longer hours for less pay, and mistakes are going to be made. It's really dangerous.
The reforms could force female doctors into choosing between having a career or having a family, something which could exaggerate gender inequalities that already exist within medicine.
The freeze in pay for when you go on maternity leave and the fact your pay increase doesn't increase at the same rate as your colleagues if you're a part-time doctor just means that it's going to be even harder for women to be a doctor and have families, which is already an issue. And in particular, this is going to affect surgeons and other similar hospital professions in which there's already a higher proportion of men, and the changes in contract are just going to exacerbate this gap further.
Dr. Hugo Farn has been heavily involved in the campaign against the reforms. He explains how they could actually end up costing the taxpayer more.
It's really important that the NHS looks after its female workforce, because we know that 70% of medical school graduates are women, and they're a really big part of the NHS. So I think for some female doctors it really will be a choice between hopefully not putting off having children altogether, but certainly deferring it until after they reach consultant. And I think perversely what this means is that over a career, instead of a woman perhaps spending 15 years during training, during which she would be paid as a trainee, a registrar for most of those years you'd expect, she may now race through her training in 9 or 10 years, get to consultant, at which point there's quite a large jump in salary, and then work the rest of her career as a consultant, which will end up costing the taxpayer more, and have her maternity leave as a consultant at consultant rates. So it really doesn't make any sense.
In a letter to the chair of the British Medical Association, the Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt said, "I am saddened by the distress being caused to junior doctors who are misled into believing that their pay will be cut and that they will be asked to work many more hours each week. We have no such intention. I can give an absolute guarantee that average pay for junior doctors will not reduce." This statement has not stopped junior doctors from protesting the reforms. Last week, thousands of doctors took to London streets to protest the proposals.
I think it's quite a powerful signal when you get people who are hard-working professionals with stethoscopes, with children, protesting on the streets. We are not the sort of people who protest normally. We're not trade unionists, we're not lunatics going out there, anarchists, anything like this. I think also it's been an opportunity for us to meet members of the public, to get our story out in the news and to be able to educate them, because I think if anyone understands this, then they can't really understand why the government's pursuing it.
Next week, junior doctors will vote on whether to strike over the reforms. If strike action is voted for, it will be the first time an all-out strike has happened in the entire history of the NHS. This is Jessica Howard-Johnston for City News.